Shalom and welcome to Covenant Calendar Club, continuing the Wilderness Campsite series. In Campsite 14, smoldering on the threshold of Canaan. After leaving Egypt, the freed Hebrew slaves moved through the wilderness on their way to the land Yahuwah had promised them. As they approached Canaan, they stopped in the wilderness at Rithmah, right here. When later the Hebrews were to camp here, the name would be Kadesh Barnea, meaning sanctuary. Was it currently smoldering because of Yahuwah's anger against their doubt and cowardice? Elohim had already spied out the land. Ezekiel 20, verse 6, in the day I lifted up my hand unto them to bring them forth of the land of Egypt into a land I had spied for them, flowing with milk and honey, which is the glory of all lands. And he had described it to them in Deuteronomy 8, 7 through 9. For Yahuwah thy Elohim bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brook of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates and of olive oil and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack any in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. In addition to all that, they had been forewarned of who they would face, and that Yahuwah would deliver them before the Israelites. When Yahuwah your Elohim brings you into the land which you go to possess, he shall also clear away many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. Look at the nations that Yahuwah had said that he would clear out before them. So is it any wonder that Yahuwah's anger would be smoldering to hear this exchange between Moses and the Israelites? In Deuteronomy 1, 21, 23, we see, Yahuwah your Elohim has set the land before you. Go up and possess it, as Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers has spoken to you. Do not fear, nor be discouraged. And all you came near to me and said, let us send men before us, and let them search out the land for us, and bring back word to us of the way by which we should go up, and of the cities into which we would come. And the matter was good in my eyes, so I took 12 of your men, 1 man of each tribe. But in Numbers 13, 1 and 2, it says, and Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, send men to spy out the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the children of Israel. Send 1 man from each tribe of their fathers, every one a leader among them. So the recon mission begins. We reach the Valley of Sin in a camp called Rithmah. Moses had a conversation with Yahuwah and is called forth a representative from each tribe, a man of renown. My husband Caleb has been chosen from the tribe of Judah and is excited to be accompanying Joshua on his mission. These are the other men of renown chosen for this mission and the tribes that they represent. We have, and it went away from me, can't see it. Just a second here, I think I've got it.
It's Shamua Reuben.
Okay, thank you. We have Shamua Will you read them for me, Jeanette, and the tribe they're in, till you get down a ways?
What do you mean?
Read the name and the tribe they're from.
Just Shamua, Reuben. That's all I'm seeing. Oh, read all of them?
I can
Okay.
read now.
Okay.
And we have Shaphat from the tribe of Simeon. We have Yagel from Issachar. We have Oshea or Yehoshua from Ephraim. Palti from the tribe of Benjamin. Gadiel from Zebulun. Gadi from the tribe of Manasseh. Amiel from the tribe of Dan. Sether from Asher. And Nabi from Naphtali. And lastly, Geuel from Gad. We'll come back to these names a little later on. The scouting mission, oops, here. And Moshe sent the men to spy out the land of Canaan and said to them, "Go up here into the south and go up to the mountains and see what the land is like, and the people who dwell in it, whether strong or weak, whether few or many, and whether the land they shall dwell in is good or evil, whether the cities they inhabit are in camps or strongholds, and whether the land they dwell in is good or evil, whether the cities they inhabit are in camps or strongholds, and whether the land is rich or poor, and whether there are forests or there are not. And you shall be strong and bring some of the fruit of the land." Now the time was the season of the first fruits of the grapes. So here they leave Rithmah. Their scouting mission took them many miles, and the 12 spies traveled in secret 3 weeks through the Negev desert where the Amalekites lived. Here they saw very tall and strong people who were descendants of Anak. Satan had from the beginning plotted to destroy the seed that would bring forth Yahushua, HaMashiach, and thus Yahuwah Elohim's plan of redemption. He rushed ahead of the Israelites to introduce his fallen angels into the cultures of Canaan, where they lay as giants in wait for the seed of Abraham. Satan is never able to disrupt the royal line, but I believe he continues his insidious plan today as he seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. We must not allow any chinks in our armor. I'm sure they saw walled cities like this on their travels. And next they moved through the hill country where the Hittites, the Jebusites, and the Amorites lived, and then around the river Jordan and Lake Galilee where they saw Canaanites, to beyond Beersheba where Isaac had settled some 300 years earlier in 1730 BC. They moved on past Shechem, where Jacob had set up an altar and bought land for a tomb in 1691 BC. From here, they continued north to Rehob and Lebo-Hamath in the far north of Canaan, near Damascus. Damascus would be just a little to the north and to the right on the map as you look at it. As the spies worked their way back south, they passed Hebron. Hebron was a rich history for Yahuwah's people, though the whole country by Yahuwah's deed and gift belonged to Abraham, it had not yet been made over, hence the necessity for a deliberate purchase with all the stately formalities of the East. Abraham's insistence on buying a gravesite and the care with which the negotiations were pursued show that he realized that his descendants would come again into this land and possess it. You can read about this transaction in Genesis 23. It was here between Hebron and Mamre the spies came into the Eshcol Valley and discovered the enormous clusters of grapes. This indicates that it must have been around the 5th month of the yearly cycle. There was also discovered a bountiful harvest of figs and pomegranates. Let us consider the characteristics of these fruits. Since I placed the reconnaissance mission in August, it would be the kermus or summer fig that was found in abundance. It is also known as tiena or common fig. The fig was a sign of peace and prosperity. In 1 Kings 4:25, we read, "And Yehuda and Yisrael dwelt safely, and each man under his vine and his fig tree, from Dan as far as Beersheba, all the days of Shalomah." Unlike the other 6 species of produce that Israel is known for, there has been no modern discovery for its health benefits, but we do read in 2 Kings 27, "And Isaiah said, 'Take a cake of figs,' and they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered." As a personal side note, I know of someone that uses the black figs to make a poultice for their eyes. The Israelites did experience peace and prosperity in the times that they obeyed Yahuwah Elohim. As for peace and prosperity now, Yahuwah Elohim is our peace and provision, and soon, what better than that of entering the kingdom? Next, we have the pomegranates. They are in abundance during the time of the fall feasts in Israel. Think of it. When we eat an apple or a pear or an orange, we'll generally eat the fruit and spit out the seeds. But with a pomegranate, there is no flesh, just seeds embedded in a jelly-type juice that runs red as you bite into the seeds. Yahuwah could have designed the pomegranate any way he desired. So why the leathery, bruised, mottled red skin, the crown-shaped top, and the myriad of seeds? There must have been a reason, since he instructed them to be placed on the hems of the priest's robe in Exodus 29, 33 through 35. "And on its hems you shall make pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet, all around its hem, and bells of gold between them all around, a golden bell and a pomegranate, a golden bell and a pomegranate on the hem of the robe all around. And it shall be upon Aaron to attend in, and its sound shall be heard when he goes into the set apart place before Yahuwah, and when he comes out, so that he does not die." I'd say that place is pretty amount of importance on the pomegranate. As I read about pomegranates, I found many references, and most of them took me back to pagan cultures as far as Egypt or Jewish tradition. Here is what I believe the Ruach HaKodesh brought forth to me, and it's certainly open to discussion. Let's take a look. The skin is hard and leathery, battered and resilient, like true Israel, born from above. As priests after the order of Melchizedek, we will wear a crown. And you see the crown on the pomegranate. And when we burst forth, we spread blessings, seeds that teach of the atoning power of Yahusha's blood unto salvation. Without the blood covering Yahusha, the seed, we die. Another side note, in case you've heard the rumor, it has been proven that not all pomegranates have 613 seeds. That is definitely tradition. Finally, the grapes. Grapes have so many layers of understanding, from the physical to the spiritual. In this chapter of the Israelites' journey, I see them in 2 ways. They certainly were confirmation of Yahuwah's promise of what awaited them in the land of promise. But I think more importantly, at this point, they represented the need for new wineskins before they could receive the new wine. After 40 days of spying out the land Yahuwah had promised them, the 12 returned with the samples of fruits that they had found in abundance and displayed them before Moses, Aaron, and all the congregation. And now I hand the baton to Diane, who will take us through the rest of the story. and what transpired after this current rebellion by the Israelites. Our prayer is that you be blessed by some names and hopefully be inspired by others to take stock in what name should convey in our walk in covenant with Yahushua HaMashiach.
I've gathered my information from Numbers 13:32 through 14:45. And they gave the Israelites an evil report of the land which they had spied out, saying, the land through which we have gone as spies is a land eating up its inhabitants, and all the people that we saw are of great size. We saw the sons of Anak of the Nephilim. We were like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we were in their eyes as grasshoppers also. The congregation cried out and wept that night as they all grumbled against Moshe and Aaron and said to them, why would Yahuwah rather we had died in Mitzrayim or died in the wilderness or by the sword? The Israelites then decided to appoint a leader to go back to Mitzrayim. When Moshe and Aaron heard this, they fell on their faces before the assembly. Joshua and Caleb rent their garments and spoke to the people, saying, the land we have passed through is a land of milk and honey, an excellent land. Yahuwah does favor us, and he will bring us into this land and give it to us. But do not rebel against him, and do not fear the people of this great land. Their defense has been taken away from them, and Yahuwah will swallow them up. Yahuwah has been with us and always will be with us. But all the congregation wanted to stone them at that time. Then Yahuwah appeared in all of his glory in the tent of appointment before his chosen people. Yahuwah was hurt and angered as he said to Moshe, how long will these people treat me with contempt? How long will they refuse to trust me of all the miraculous things I have done for them? Have they forgotten the night that I led them out of Mitzrayim? Did they forget the parting of the Red Sea so that they could safely cross on dry ground? Did they forget how Pharaoh's army was consumed by the Red Sea? Did they forget how I fed them every day with manna and enough left over for Sabbath? Once again, I provided them with quail after hearing their relentless grumblings for meat. Did they remember that I led them with a white cloud and by the day and the appearance of fire at night so they could see? And they were always protected. How long must I be scorned? How long shall I have to wait for them to trust me? Do they not know how much I truly love them? They are my chosen people, and I want to be their Elohim. The hurt and disappointment must have been horrific. He then said to Moshe, let me strike them with pestilence and disinherit them and make you a greater nation and a greater and mightier nation than they. Then Moshe said to Elohim, and now I pray, let the power of Elohim be great, as you have spoken, saying, Elohim is patient and of great loving commitment, forgiving crookedness and transgressions, but by no means leaving them unpunished, visiting crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third generation. Please forgive the crookedness of these people according to your greatness of your loving commitment. You have forgiven them from Mitzrayim until now. Elohim spoke, I shall, forgive them according to your word. He then told them, since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are dwelling in the valley, turn back tomorrow and set out into the wilderness by the way of the Sea of Reeds. Then Yahweh spoke to Moshe and Aaron, saying, how long shall this evil congregation have grumblings against me? So then he said to them, as I live, declares Yahweh, as you have spoken in my hearing, so I do to you. The ones that have disobeyed my voice and tried me shall not enter the land promised to their fathers. You shall wander in the desert until this generation from age 20 and up has passed away in the wilderness. Only Caleb and Joshua shall enter the promised land with the younger ones. I shall bring them in, and they shall know the land their parents and grandparents have rejected. They will wander in the wilderness, bear the whorings and unfaithfulness of the older generations. They will wander for 40 years, a year for each day they spied out in the land. I am Yahweh, and I have spoken. I shall do this to all this evil congregation who are against me. In this wilderness they will be consumed, and they shall die. Even the men who brought the evil report that caused the people to grumble shall die by the plague before Yahweh. When Moshe spoke these words to the Israelites, they mourned greatly. They rose up early the next morning and headed to go up to the top of the mountain, saying, we have indeed sinned, but shall go up to the place of Yahweh. Then Moshe said, why do you now transgress the mount of Yahweh, since it does not prosper? Do not go up there. You will be attacked by your enemies. Yahweh is no longer in your midst. They disobeyed once again and were struck down by the swords of the Amalekites and the Canaanites, and were beat down as far back as Hormah. The one disease of the Israelites is that they did not see Yahweh as the great Elohim that he really is, and that was their downfall. The Israelites feared the unknown, just as many people do today. They did not know just how much they were loved by Elohim and how much he would fight for them so they would be able to live in the promised land of Canaan. We are the final Israel, being called today to actively fight the good fight with faith and complete trust in Yeshua. We are to be among those who seize the kingdom, no matter the cost or the size of the foe. We will by force take the Canaan that we live in today, and gain eternal life with Yeshua. By living out our faith and walking in his ways, trusting, we can conquer the giants through the power and might of Yeshua. And now I have picked out some words that had some meaning to me. And I got them from a book that's titled, His Names Are Wonderful. The first one is, and I have scripture to go with them as well. I am, which I am. Ayev Asher Ayev. In Exodus 3:14 and 15. And Elohim said to Moshe, I am that which I am. Thus you shall say to the children of Israel, I am has sent you. And Elohim said further to Moshe, thus you are to say to the children of Israel, Yahweh, Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzhak, and the Elohim of Yaakov, has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and this is a remembrance to all generations. This name encompasses all of Yahweh's names, as he declares himself to be more than we can ever comprehend, who was, who is, and who will always be. Next, he is the he is the giver of the Torah, Noten Ha-Torah, found in Numbers 19:2. Adonai said to Moshe and Aaron, "This is the regulation from the Torah which Adonai has commanded." And again in James 4:12, there is but one giver of the Torah. He is also the judge with the power to deliver and to destroy. Yahweh gave us these instructions for righteous living, so we could learn to follow his ways and walk in reverence before him. His teachings are perfect and true, and they are a guide for our lives. Next is root, Sheresh, found in Revelation 22:16. I, Yeshua, have sent my messenger to witness to you these matters in the assemblies. I am the root and the offspring of David, the bright and morning star. Just as the roots of a tree provide stability, nourishment, and a firm foundation for growth and strength, our Messiah, root of David, provides all this and more in our lives. Next, we have a hiding place. Seter, found in Psalms 17:8. Protect me like the pupil of your eye. Hide me in the shadow of your wings. And in Psalm 27:5. He will conceal me in his shelter on the day of trouble. He will hide me in the folds of his tent. He will set me high on a rock. He raises me up. Have you ever gotten home from a hectic day, locked the door, pulled the shades to hide from life's demands and troubles, trying to close out the world? The next time you feel like this, run to Yahweh, our safe hiding place, and be alone with only him. He is also our breath of life, Nishmat Chaim, found in Job 32:8. But truly, it is the spirit in man and the breath of the Almighty that gives him understanding. And again, Job 33:4. The spirit of El has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life. We are alive today because El Elyon, Most High El, Mighty One of Strength, gave us our first breath, the breath of life. By a mere breath of his mouth, the heavens, the earth, and everything in them were created as he spoke them into existence. Thank you, Yahweh, for your wonderful breath of life. What a special gift you have given each of us. And now we have refiner, Mitzrayef. It's found in Zechariah 13:9. The third part will be through the fire. I will refine them as silver is refined. I will test them as gold is tested. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say, this is my people. And they will say, Adonai is my El Elyon, Most High El, Mighty One of Strength. When silver is refined, heat separates the precious metals from the dross. Too much heat harms the silver. Someone asked a silversmith, how did he know the process was complete? And the silversmith replied, when I can see my image in the silver. So we must open up to Yahweh's refining process and allow his image to be formed in us. He is our defender, Yariv. Deuteronomy 33:29. Blessed are you, Israel, who is like you, a people saved by Yahweh, the shield of your help, and he who is the sword of your triumph. And your enemies will cringe before you, but you will trample down their high places. In the face of predators, animals surround their young to protect them from danger. We have a defender who protects us from the attacks of the evil one. He is Yahshua HaMashiach, our Melchizedek priest. He is my advocate, Shaddai, found in Psalms 119, verses 153 through 154. Look at my distress and rescue me, for I do not forget your Torah. Plead my cause and redeem me in keeping with your promise. Revive me. Be grateful for you. Be grateful for Yahushua HaMashiach, your advocate. Through him, the verdict is not guilty, and you will not find a more competent attorney. Next, he is our shield, Magen. Psalm 28:7. Adonai is my strength and shield. In him my heart has trusted, and I have been helped. Therefore, my heart, with my song, I thank him. Imagine fierce warriors standing shield to shield, impenetrable, wielding their spears. This is a picture of the way Yahweh protects those who are upright in heart. He stops the arrows and darts from the enemy. Nothing gets past them. And I have also decided to pick one of Yahweh's attributes. And the first one is entitled Elohim's Infinitude. Elohim is infinite. He knows no limits or boundaries and has no end. He cannot be measured. People often misuse the words unlimited and infinite. These words can only describe Elohim. Infinity cannot describe things that are measured, such as unlimited wealth. It can be counted. Boundless energy can be measured along with space, time, distance from one point to another, such as the moon from the earth or the sun, and one heavenly body from another, such as the planet and the stars. There is nothing boundless except Elohim, and nothing infinite except him. He is self-existent and absolute. He does not extend into space. He contains space. He is the space and he holds it together. For Yah to be Yah, he must be infinite in all that he is. He must have no bounds, no limits, no stopping place, no point beyond which he cannot go. He created the world and all that is in it, above it and below it. We were created to have a special relationship with him. We were given free will to choose between following Yahweh's Torah with its laws, commandments, and to live a lifestyle pleasing to him as we prepare to become a bride of Yeshua. Some will reject it all and regret that decision forever. It's a matter of eternal life or eternal damnation. Unfortunately, the Israelites made decisions to follow other gods. They gave their faith and trust to idols time and time again. They did not have the revered fear or trust or faith in their Elohim to take care of them. As a result, people 20 years and older gave up their right to enter Canaan, the promised land. While on this earth, will we ever begin to understand the magnitude of Yahuwah? and all that he encompasses and all that he is. Only Yahweh can determine what is in our circumcised hearts and the level of knowledge and understanding we have received. We will never begin to comprehend the infinity of it all until we are with Yahusha in heaven, eternally learning. And now I will turn the baton back to Betty.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Thank you. So now we're going to go back. We've heard some names for our Elohim. Now we're going to go back to the names of the spies who went into the country. My thought was, I've had a couple of things come to mind the last couple of weeks, and names are about the only thing that we have here on earth that we can pass on. And it really isn't the name itself that's important. It's what we have brought to that name when we leave this earth that leaves a mark. And so let's take a look at the spies. We have Shammua. I used Daoud's notebook that he sent me in, and I'm afraid I didn't dig as deep as I would have if I'd had more time, but hopefully he'll forgive me for what I've come up with. Anyway, Shammua, renowned, hearkener, one who receives understanding. Then we have Shaphat, judge of Yahuwah. Caleb, wholehearted, conclusion of faith. I like that one. Yigal, avenger, he will redeem. Hoshea, Yahushua. Moses changed his name from to save to him by whom Yahuwah will save. I found this a little interesting because I think the only other two name changes that came directly to mind, Yahuwah made the name changes, but scripture says that Moses made this name change. Palti, my escape. Next we have Gadiel, my fortune is Yah. Gadi, intensive for, my invader, my fortune. Amiel, my people are of Yah. Shether, hidden. Nabi, behold my house, my hiding. Geuel, exalt ye Yah. So we look at those names and we see strength in each one of them. At least that's what I saw. And yet they didn't live up to those names. And I found that rather interesting. And that's why I came to the conclusion that it's not your name, it's what you develop into that represents that name as you walk through life and as you draw closer to Yahusha. And so Diane and I decided that we would take a look at some of the names that we call ourselves as followers of Yahusha. And we invite you to add to this. We have sister, brother, saint, believer, edifier, disciple, faithful, prayer warrior, obedient, set apart one, elect. And when you look at those and then you consider what we were just talking about, do we see the attributes of these names as showing forth when people see us and interact with us? And I think personally for me, I need to take a good look at this. Do you see a sister? Maybe someday you'll see a saint. Right now, I can't grab that one. Do you see a believer? When I go out, do I proclaim the name? so that people know who I follow? Do I edify? Do I help build you up when we meet together? Am I a disciple? Do I bring you alongside to maybe share something that I've learned? Am I faithful? Do I show up every time when I'm needed? Do I stay faithful to the word? Am I a prayer warrior? Do I lay my prayer aside ever? Do I pick it up every day? Am I obedient? Am I a set apart one? Do I follow his Torah? And do I act like an elect one? So I think this is kind of the end. Thank you for joining us, and we pray Yahuwah Shalom upon each home represented. Let us be preparing our hearts for that final exodus into Zion. And the next stop is going to be Tahath.